Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and joining me as always on Monday, Jason Cameron. Hey, buddy, this is going to be fun. How was your weekend and how was your day?
Weekend was good. I didn't do much, just relaxed and chilled out. And then the day was wet, very, very wet.
Yeah. I'm really happy I made the call to the boss and said, I don't think we should be working outside this morning. It is a brutal storm here, and he agreed, and we got saved from being super soaked completely right to the bone. I'm sure we would have been. Tomorrow's supposed to be sunny, so good on us.
Yeah, it's literally the only day of sun, I think, for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Something. So yeah. Fortuitous timing. So yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, I'm glad it's happening. Glad we get that one day. I feel sorry for a lot of people that are affected by this massive storm, all the floods. Good luck to everybody. Hope you don't get stranded. Hope your homes are going to be fine. Always these big storms worry me. I heard the town of Lytton, who was wiped out by a wildfire this past summer, is now doubly wiped out by a flood now. So, those poor people up there.
Yeah, they got hit twice, and nobody should be hit that hard twice like that by nature. Yeah, so it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about week 10 of the NFL. We're going to get into some UFC talk. Max Holloway put himself in a position for a big payday, probably against Conor McGregor. We're going to talk some NBA, and one of the greatest of all time, his son just went to prison for almost killing a guy. Don't know if you heard about this, but just was sentenced today. And it's a pretty brutal story. We'll get into that in the NBA talk. Last week was known for all the crazy upsets. There was 7 upsets, and some of the biggest upsets in NFL history. We got a couple upsets in this past week, but what really this week's known for is the quarterback comeback. We had 2 comebacks in the same game with Aaron Rodgers and Rusty Wilson, and Cam Newton just got brought off the scrap heap and reunited with his old Carolina Panthers people, and he scored 2 touchdowns on the first 2 snaps that he had. So rejuvenated. He said he was eating cereal this time last week, and then suddenly he's back behind center, being a quarterback again. So kind of cool to see him back. That other game with Rodgers and Rusty Wilson didn't pan out very well, but what do you think of Cam Newton coming back?
I was a little bit surprised, but then again, maybe I shouldn't be, because Darnold seemed to be going on a trajectory going downhill quickly, very, very quickly. So the Panthers need to do something, and I guess they said, well, let's go with what we know. We know he's still pretty good. I think he can give us the infusion that we need for the team just by his presence, and apparently it worked.
Yeah, it was kind of wild to see him. Supposedly he's going to be the starting quarterback coming up this Sunday. They think he's going to have the playbook down, and they'll have a game plan schemed for him. PJ Walker was their starting quarterback and fared okay, but Cam came in there and was super dynamic. Did you see, as soon as he scored that first touchdown, ripped off his helmet and just yelled, "I'm back! I'm back!" He kept yelling. He was a very happy guy.
Yeah, of course, because I would be very happy too when I'm collecting an NFL paycheck again. So yeah, that's number one. And number 2, he won. So yeah, he's got a lot to be grateful and happy about.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. The Monday nighter tonight. So far, it's quite the shocker. We've got the 7-2 Rams against the 3-5 Niners, and the Niners are dominating. They're winning 24-7. They've got the ball about midfield right now and marching again. The Niners only had 2 possessions in the first half, and they were up 21-7 at halftime. Pretty weird to think that 2 possessions and you got 21 points, but they had Jimmy Ward picked off Matthew Stafford twice and returned one of them, pick 6 to the house. Yeah, another big upset brewing here.
Surprising. Yeah, I thought the Rams would have come out with a little bit more fire, and I didn't think that it would be the 49ers that would come out with all the fire, and then the Rams would just come out, I would say, somewhat flat for this particular game.
Very flat, very surprising. But this year has been very weird, very strange, and the Rams are trying to match the Cardinals, who had another loss at 8-2, top of the NFC West. But yeah, so far nearing the end of the third quarter, San Fran's up a few scores. I guess it was kind of talked about a lot on the Rams side of the ball because there was going to be the debut of Von Miller and the debut of Odell Beckham Jr. Both of them haven't had much impact yet, but yeah, it seems like the Rams are definitely going all in, really want to host a Super Bowl in their home park. And but yeah, so far these guys haven't been able to do anything much.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because of the fact that I guess in hindsight, it was a good thing that they brought in Odell Beckham Jr. because Robert Woods unfortunately suffered that injury in practice, tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
So he's gone for the season, which is it's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. So, so with him being there, but Odell Beckham Jr. has to show that he can still do something to contribute to the team. And so maybe he does that this game. If he doesn't, hopefully in the next couple of games.
Yeah. He's got 2 catches for 18 yards so far. Cooper Kupp has 4 for 44 yards. Tyler Higbee got the lone touchdown for them. Let's see, Von Miller stats, just 1 tackle, 1 assist so far. So definitely not a lot of impact. 2 picks for Stafford, like I said. Jimmy G having a great game, 13 for 16, 135 yards and a TD. And Deebo Samuel has the touchdown on the ground. And George Kittle has a TD through the air. Deebo has 3 catches for 50 yards. He's having a phenomenal year. And yeah, whatever game plan the Niners have put together, they're doing great. We'll keep you posted throughout the night. Yeah, I'd be really surprised because we've seen so many upsets recently. The parity in the NFL, I don't think has ever been the way it is this year. I think this is an unprecedented year, the longest NFL season ever, and I think it's probably going to be the tightest one from top to bottom.
Yeah, and there's a couple contributing factors or contributing to the parity of the NFL. Number one being, I would imagine, COVID-19 being a thing, and then the fact that some of these guys, some of the top players, are out from week to week on the COVID-19 protocol, which just adds to the parity because it just brings those top teams back down to a certain level where the middling teams or even the lower end teams now have a shot at beating them.
Yeah, we see that with Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger out, and they ended up tying the woeful Detroit Lions. I'm actually watching the Peyton and Eli feed, and Draymond Green is their guest tonight. He's been on there for quite a while. He seems to actually know a ton about football. He played a little bit in college. He said that he actually prefers watching football over the NBA.
Wow, that is actually kind of surprising, considering how much of a student of the game Draymond is for the NBA. That he actually prefers on his off time to watch the NFL as opposed to the NBA. That's surprising to me. It
was kind of neat too. They talked to Draymond, and Peyton said, "I heard that you can recite every name of every guy that got drafted before you. in your draft year, all 34 of them. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. He goes, yeah, it was one of my greatest days, but I was really angry that I went into that second round and I thought, I'm going to prove to everybody that they made a mistake. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to list them off. And he started listing off those 34 names. And Peyton let him get to about 9 or 10 and said, I believe you, I believe you. And then they showed the list on the side of the screen there. And there's a lot of guys that get that chip on their shoulder and they just want to, prove everybody wrong for passing on them.
Well, yeah. And, but I think he's definitely succeeded. 3 rings will do that for you.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. He's been able to become one of the greatest of all time, even though he doesn't score a ton. Man, he contributes really well to that team. And he's a hothead on the court, but man, is he super valuable to that team.
Yeah. And he's like, you could say heart and soul. He wears everything on his sleeve. And on top of that, it may not be offensive. Well, actually, offensively, he is. You could say he's like a point forward. You can run the offense of that team. But then at the same time, he's the defensive point. He's the spearhead as well because he runs the defense. He's his defensive savant. He really is.
Yeah.
When it comes to his defensive chops, there's there's very few that are as good as him in the league.
Yeah. I mentioned upsets. The biggest upset was Washington taking down Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Bucks. That was huge. We'll get into that a little bit. And off the top, I talked about the comeback with Aaron Rodgers, who's a COVID liar, and Rusty Wilson off his broken finger. The rust, they thought that there was going to be rust there, and there definitely was. Seahawks shut out for the first time in 10 years, the entire era of Russell Wilson, 150 games, never been shut out. It was a tough game to watch. It wasn't fun, but what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a very tough game to watch. Like Aaron Rodgers did enough to win, but he wasn't stellar. And Russell Wilson was, you could tell he was lacking reps. He was lacking that. So with that being said, still surprising that they got utterly shut out on the scoreboard, that they weren't even able to put up a field goal. Like I was a little bit surprised at that. And then with Rodgers, he did all right. He did enough to win, 23 of 37, 219 yards, but with 1 pick. The one thing that I was actually more intrigued by was the fact that he somewhat apologized for his misleading statements.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Right.
Not really, kind of.
Okay.
And I was just like, I guess that's as good as it's going to get. So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't the proper apology, but he tried a little bit, I guess. It looks like the Seahawks are going to be fined quite a bit this week. The first fine that's expected to come down is for DK Metcalf, who was tossed out of the game and who re-entered the game. And then they said, hey, man, what are you doing? You've been kicked out. You're supposed to be back in the locker room. And he's like, what? Nobody told me. And he exited the game again. So, entered the game again. So, I heard there's a fine coming for him.
Wow. Okay, so hold on a second. So nobody told him, but he still left the field, right?
No.
So why did you leave the field? That would be my first question. It's like,
Yeah.
So nobody told you that you got tossed, but yet you still left the field. So all right, so why did you leave? Why did you just keep playing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think that the excuse is going to fly with the NFL. So I'm sure that will come down. Also, Pete Carroll, I think, is going to be fined for criticizing the refs. He said the refs were to blame for the Seahawks loss. He pointed out at least 3 plays that were instrumental in the loss. He said he went into a lot of detail on Russell Wilson's first quarter scramble that I guess they fumbled the ball and they ended up giving it to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers' second quarter fumble with the Seahawks recovered, but then they ended up giving it back to Green Bay as well. And Kevin King's interception of Wilson in the third quarter. You can clearly see the ball going into his hands, and as he went to the ground, the ball ended up touching the turf, and he didn't really have control of it, and it seemed to all be slanted Green Bay's way. Pete was mad, and I haven't heard him talk that lengthy at how the refs screwed them and caused them to lose the game.
Well, I appreciate his candor. Unfortunately, it's going to cost him money, but if he's right, though, well, then the NFL will kind of look into that and be like, well, the refs need to be a little bit more on top of their game. But at the same time, kind of can't criticize them for saying, you cost us the game. Yeah, no, the NFL doesn't like that when you do that. So.
No, it's usually definitely frowned upon. So some bad news for the Packers came down today. Aaron Jones has a sprained knee. They say that they figure it's not super serious, 1 to 2 weeks, but huge weapon not in their lineup over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I guess they're going to have to rely on A.J. Dillon a little bit more in the backfield, who he had a good game, 21 attempts, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 receptions for 62 yards. So I would imagine his usage will spike for these next 2 games that Jones is out.
And the Packers, Whitney Merciless blew out his knee and is expected to miss the rest of the season. So AJ Dillon, looked really phenomenal actually in that game. He really came through with a great game, a couple touchdowns on the ground, and had a couple of really nice catches and runs. He's becoming a really big weapon for them as well.
Yeah, he's become somebody that Aaron Rodgers is definitely relying on in the offense, and he's going to have to rely on him quite a bit more since Jones is going to be out for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so Seahawks, do we count them out? Are they done for the playoffs now? Do you think we've seen the last of them being able to make it?
It's going to be really hard for them to make the playoffs. Like really, really hard. Like Russell Wilson will have to show some sort of MVP form for them to do that. And I don't think the team has it in them. I'm going to be honest. It just doesn't feel like this is their season this year. I don't think so. I think they're out of the playoffs race already as it is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Cardinals, Cowboys, and Bucks are division leaders right now. Rams, Saints, and Panthers are in the wild card positions. In the hunt, you got Vikings, Falcons, and Eagles. But the 2 things that I noticed, the Seahawks play the Lions, the Texans, and the Bears. So the Lions and Texans, they should be wins. Bears are also 3-6, same as them. So that could be 3 more wins. They have to play the Cardinals a couple times. But yeah, they've had a tough season, and 3-6. It's hard to think that they're going to be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, because the amount of wins that they have to get down the stretch, I don't know if they can pull that off. I really do. I really have my doubts. Lions and Texans could be very helpful, because those teams are garbage. But I hope Seahawks don't play down to their level.
Yeah.
And then make it into a dogfight for themselves, because that could happen as well.
True. Yeah. So, okay. So that takes care of the NFC West. Why don't we turn to the NFC South? The big upset, as I mentioned off the top, Washington football team came in at 2-6 and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Bucks, picking off Tom Brady twice in the first quarter. 2 out of his first 6 passes. He hasn't thrown 2 picks in a first quarter in many, many, many years. I think since 2012. He just seemed off. He just wasn't hitting his receivers. And I guess Father Time's finally caught up to him.
You say that now, right? And then the next game he throws for 400 yards. So
Yeah.
I can't do that. I won't do that because I'm very good at messing myself over whenever I talk ill of Tom Brady, and then he just goes off, and I'm like, now I look like an idiot. So I'm just gonna say this: he was off for this particular night.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say this, but on the flip side, Heineke was most certainly on.
Yeah.
He played a fantastic game, made throws when he needed to make throws. Went 26 of 32, 256 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, he basically was the conductor for Washington's win.
Yeah.
Without him, they don't win, period.
I couldn't believe that 19-play drive that lasted 10 minutes. That was really, really the biggest key for this victory. They kept Tom on the sideline. They wore down that defense, and they just kept getting about 3 to 4 yards per play and just chipped away. 19-play drive, that's got to be one of the longest out of any drive this entire season. And Heineke's looking good. He's looking comfortable in there. They had a really good game plan, and 10-minute drive, 19 plays. That's usually going to really be a key to victory.
Yes, it is. And also, too, your key to victory definitely has to be keeping the ball out of Tom Brady's hands.
Yeah.
And a 19-play drive will definitely do that for you.
Wow. Deebo Samuel just scored a touchdown for the Niners. 30-7, waiting an extra point or a 2-point conversion. 30-7. And that was on a 4th down play. I think it was 4th and 7. I think they were going for it. And Jimmy G finds his favorite weapon across the middle, right in the middle of 3 guys, and Samuel takes it to the house. I don't see the Rams coming back on a 31-7 deficit with 11 minutes left.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I think the 49ers got their number tonight. And Deebo Samuel, that guy's been amazing this year.
Yeah, amazing year. Yeah, so that was a huge upset, really shocking. I know that the Bucks are missing Gronk, they're missing Antonio Brown, but their defense, just a really strange game for that defense. They won the Super Bowl last year. One of the key reasons why they won the Super Bowl, because of that defense. Returned all 11 starters, but seemed to be having an off game the last 2 games.
Yeah. And also, too, like I have to point out that their secondary is still banged up. Yeah. And they're still missing their starters. It's a hodgepodge of whatever they can put together back there. Yeah. So that is definitely a weakness for that defense, is their secondary. But at the end of the day, they're still kind of getting by, even with that patchwork secondary that they do have.
Yeah. Washington, unfortunately, received some terrible news that Chase Young, their defensive end, is gone for the season, torn ACL as he was sacking Tom Brady. He got twisted up and blew his knee out. Tough. Rookie last year, won Rookie of the Year. Really phenomenal defensive end, Pro Bowler. Huge blow for the Washington football team. Yeah,
it's as you said, huge blow. Wish the young man well. It's gonna take him quite some time for him to get back on the field. And it just sucks for the Washington football team because they lost one of their prime defensive studs on their defense.
Yeah. So the Bucks still sit in first place in the South. The Saints are second, sitting at 5-4. They lost a tight one to Tennessee. They got the ball. They scored the touchdown. They went for the 2-point conversion. Were stopped by the Titans. Titans minus Derrick Henry, still the best team in the AFC, 8-2, and surprising a lot of people that they keep chugging along, even though they're missing one of the best players in the whole league.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising, but they're just finding ways to win. Uh, their rushing yards are not the same, clearly, like at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're just finding ways to win. Tannehill, 19 of 27, 213 yards with a touchdown. And then 5 carries. Love this stat. 5 carries for 1 yard and a touchdown. Not bad. Not bad.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Adrian Peterson, 21 yards last week, 21 yards this week. So yeah, you can count on him for a couple first downs, maybe. Yeah, really crazy that 36-year-old is almost time to put out the pasture. Really not any factor. Yeah, they really didn't have much yardage on the ground, that's for sure. But Marcus Johnson had a fantastic game, 5 catches for 100 yards, and yeah, they just did enough. They just did enough to get another victory. Do you think people are, considering them a front runner to be in that Super Bowl? Even they've got a game and a half lead, but they're not setting the world on fire without Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to put him in that talk, in that realm, but Derrick Henry just means so much to that team that I just, even though they're winning, they're finding ways to win. I just can't put him there. Yeah. I can't put him there because Derrick Henry makes that team so much better when he's in the lineup, and he's not right now.
Yeah. Trevor Simeon had almost 300 yards passing. Pretty decent game with a couple TDs. Mark Ingram Jr., great to see him back. He just set the all-time record for most yards for a Saint. He was able to pass Deuce Staley, and yeah, good on him. You can see the massive smile on his face, getting himself out of Houston, coming here, being a prime back. Alvin Kamara was out, so he was their number 1 guy. And yeah, great to see him be able to generate a lot of yards and yeah, become the all-time Saint. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Like 14 carries, 47 yards and a touchdown, 4 receptions for 61 yards. So he was a dual threat in this particular game. And yeah, man, if something is going to give you some positivity in your life, it's getting out of Houston. Yeah. And that's what he did. So he's super happy, super excited. And then getting that record is very gratifying for him for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we've covered the Bucks, Saints, and Panthers. I'll mention that the Titans host the Texans early window next Sunday, and the Saints are on to Philly to take on the Eagles, also the early window. 1 week from tonight, the Bucks host the Giants. Washington hosts the Patriots. The Falcons. Okay, I don't know how much we want to talk about the Falcons. Geez, rough go there. Cowboys really just put a licking on them.
Yeah, they destroyed them. They just blew them out. Like this was literally the game that they needed to wipe the taste out of their mouths from last week. They got that done. Matty Ice had an awful day. It was awful. Like it was really bad. I don't know why he even took the field. 9 of 21, 117 yards, 2 interceptions. It was bad. And one of those interceptions went to our boy Trayvon Diggs for his league-leading 8th pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, he's still picking the ball off and being incredible. Yeah. Even Josh Rosen came in. I think they thought, okay, Matty, time to take a seat on the bench. We're down by 40. Yeah, okay, we'll put Rosen in. Rosen was 1 for 6, 14 yards and an interception. So it didn't fare much better there. It was. I'm sure they were not happy in that locker room. That probably was like a morgue in there.
Yeah. I think they were just kind of like, let's just get out of here. Let's just have this game over with, because we are getting our ass handed to us right now. We really are. So
I've heard a lot of people say today that they think Dak Prescott is the front runner for MVP. What do you think? If he stays healthy, do you see him being one of the guys in the mix for the MVP of the league?
Oh, we were talking about Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, if he continues on his streak the way that he's going, yeah, he's got to be a front runner right now. Like, look at his numbers even for this game: 24, 31, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 carries, 5 yards, and yet another touchdown. Like, yeah, man, like he's doing big things. He's doing really well. So you would have to consider him as a front runner for the MVP right now, for sure.
Yeah. Cowboys had the most points in a first half since 1980. This was their first 40-point victory since beating the Eagles in 1990. Randall Cunningham got pasted by the Cowboys back when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. So yeah, they're putting up some historic numbers there. And this was not close whatsoever. I watched the early part of it, and then I thought, on to something that's going to be a little more close, a little more entertaining.
Yeah, this was a hard game to watch, man, because like the Falcons just got, annihilated. Like they were never really in this game. Like it was a complete and utter decimation by the Cowboys. So yeah. Falcons are not very good this year.
No, not at all. CD Lamb also had a phenomenal game, 6 catches, 94 yards, and a couple TDs. And the Cowboys are firing on all cylinders. Cowboys play the Chiefs this coming Sunday. Massive Titanic battle. It's a 105 Pacific time game, 405 Eastern. I'm sure looking forward to that. KC seems like they've figured it out. They had a big blowout win as well against the Raiders. And I think this could be one of the games of the year. Cowboys, Chiefs.
It could be, and I hope, because I want to be entertained by this game, I hope it's just a offensive explosion by both teams. And let's see who can outscore the other team. That's kind of what I want to see. I want to see these guys just going to go for it and just start gunslinging all over the field.
Yeah, that'd be great. I hope so too. I hope it's an offensive explosion. Oh, Rams almost scored a touchdown there. Van Jefferson had it, but bobbled it in the end zone. Still 31-7, 8 minutes left. It would be incredible comeback if they do it. Phillip Rivers is now the guest for Peyton and Eli. Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm surprised one of his 18 kids is not hanging off him. I know that he's got like a plethora of kids right there. Yeah. So he managed to get some quiet time just for a little bit. Good for him.
Yes, I guess so. Yeah. Okay, we mentioned the Falcons. They host the Patriots on Thursday. Patriots are playing really well, so could be more trouble for the Falcons. Sitting last in the NFC South. Okay, we mentioned the NFC East with the Cowboys, first in the division, 7-2. The Philadelphia Eagles sit second, only 4-6. But they were able to beat Denver 30-13. Jalen Hurts looked great. He was able to get 3 touchdowns. 2 of his touchdowns went to Devontae Smith, who had a phenomenal game. But this game is being talked about for Teddy Bridgewater not making a tackle, probably making one of the weakest efforts we've ever seen on a interception that he threw. And did you see the play? It was pretty bad.
Yeah, against Darius Slay, where he returned it for 82 yards for the fumble for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Like I think he tried to do the Ole, like where he's like, I was too quick. It's too fast. And I was just like, I don't know, man. You're pretty fast, too. You could have tracked him down and tackled him, but you're just like, coach, it's just too fast. I couldn't do it.
It was rough to watch, and he has taken a lot of abuse for just not making an effort at all. Yeah, they showed it over and over and over
Oh,
last
yeah.
night on every highlight show and just kept laughing at him, laughing at him. And now the Broncos fans are wanting his head. It's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, it's gonna say, come on, man. Like, you're a professional athlete. Have some pride. Like, I know you're a quarterback. You're not supposed to tackle people, but you know, if you don't tackle that guy, he's going to the house. And then you just said, let him have it. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Not good at all. And Denver's has sort of a surprising year. Been playing pretty good. We're 5-4 going into this one, but yeah, Philly was the better team. Jalen Hurts, man, he's a fun quarterback to watch. He's always entertaining. He's always running. He's very elusive, and I think the Eagles probably are really happy they got him instead of Carson Wentz. I think if he can, figure it out a little more in the pocket, I think, look out. He's a very talented player.
Yeah, he's a super talented player. And then especially if they give him more weapons to work with and stuff.
Yeah.
I think his potential is unlimited at this point in time because he's got the same, he feels like he has the same sort of skills as Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but if you're looking at his numbers, 16 and 23, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 14 attempts for another 53 yards. He has that capability within him. Yeah. He has the ability. So yes, I think the Eagles should be happy with their quarterback as it is. They just need to surround him with more things to play with on the field.
I liked Jordan Howard's game. He only had 12 carries, but he had 83 yards, 6.9 yards per carry. And he's can be a good weapon for them. But you're right, they need more there. Hopefully Jalen Hurts will get a few more weapons next season. So okay, so that's the East. Dallas first, Philly second, Washington sitting third, 3-6, and the Giants also 3-6, but the Giants had a bye this week. Philly hosts the Saints 10 a.m. and the Broncos go into their bye week. So we'll see. Okay, so we have covered the top team in the NFC North with the Packers, who are now 8-2. The Vikes are second. They sit at 4-5. They had a very upsetting, a big upset against the Chargers. A lot of people thought the Chargers were going to come in and beat them quite handily, but the Vikes were the better team on this one. And Dalvin Cook came back, had a lot of touches, was one of the keys to this victory.
Yeah, and the Vikings came into the game with 5 players on the COVID-19 list. Mr. Safety Harrison Smith, their center Garrett Bradbury gone. And with the fact that Dalvin Cook's going through his civil suit with a former girlfriend, all of that didn't matter. Still beat the Chargers.
Yeah.
That was quite impressive. That was a very, very impressive win. Cousins went off 25 of 37, 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Dalvin Cook, not being affected by that other stuff that he's going through in his personal life, 24 attempts, 94 yards and a touchdown. The Vikings surprised me. I did not think they would win this game, and they did.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I was not expecting it. And it really kicked me in the gut because I'm a Chargers fan. And both the Seahawks and the Chargers both lost in that afternoon window. I was like, oh, man, what a waste of an afternoon. I was hoping for both teams, and Seahawks get shut out. Chargers lose. It's like, oh, man, this is not fun. But, as we said off the top, lots of parody, and you just never know. Any given Sunday, as they say. Justin Jefferson went off 9 catches, 143 yards. This guy is becoming a crazy, crazy weapon. He's kind of making people forget about Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, for sure. Like he's coming up big, and Cousins is finding him over and over again. Like Thielen is obviously right there for him, but Jefferson is becoming more of a weapon for Cousins going forward, and he's just going to be more and more utilized because the kid is good. He's really good.
This was an interesting stat I saw during the game. The Vikings are the only team in the whole league to lead every single game they've played by 7+ points. No other team has been able to do that. So at some point in the entire 10-game schedule, they've led by 7+ points. That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat, because then you'd think that the record would be better. It is not, but at least they've proven to show that they can score the football.
Yeah,
they can score well.
So the Vikes host Green Bay early window Sunday, and the Chargers host the Steelers in the Sunday nighter. That should be fun. Hopefully Ben Roethlisberger's back from the COVID list and they have a full complement. Mason Rudolph just doesn't have the same kind of abilities there. So okay. Chicago Bears had a bye. They sit third in the NFC North at 3-6. And they are ahead of Detroit, who still is winless. They stopped their 12-game losing streak, but still winless in 13. Man, this was an ugly game. Oh my God, 16-16 tie. I was just laughing at the end. I was hearing all these players say, there's ties in the NFL. I didn't know that. I couldn't believe how many guys didn't know there was ties in the league. They just were like, don't we have more overtime? Are you sure? Like, really, ties? I never knew we had ties. It made me laugh so hard. I was choking on what I was drinking because guy after guy after guy kept coming to the podium and saying, man, I never really knew we had ties. I just never knew. That's a new one to me. Even Dan Campbell came and said, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I don't even know what's going on. I really am shocked by this. And this is the coach. He's supposed to know that they have ties, but he didn't seem to even know.
Why am I not surprised? You know what I mean? Like, why am I not surprised? The lines are like, hey, would you look at that? You can tie a game. I didn't know. How about this? Would you look at that? You can't win a game. That's as good as it gets for you guys.
Yeah, that could be it. Hey, wow, that could be the highlight of their entire year. They couldn't win a game, but at least they didn't lose every single one. It was bad, man. When they got their 16 points, okay, it looked all right. It looked okay. They might have a chance here. They had 9 more possessions after those 16 points, 7 punts, 1 missed field goal, and they got the ball final seconds. I think 10 seconds left. They recovered a fumble. Their kicker he has to be the saddest looking kicker I've ever seen. That field goal attempt in overtime was so pathetic. Like they got him immediately cut this guy. He is just terrible. He was in college and he got cut from the college team because they said you're not good enough. You got to punt the ball, not field goal kick. And somehow he made it into the NFL for Detroit. Like, what the hell is going on? Are they purposely losing? Like, this guy doesn't even look like a kicker, and that's saying something.
Well, no, I think Dan Campbell is just like, get me that guy. That's our kicker.
It was, oh my God, like that was one of the worst attempts at a field goal I've ever seen. It was pathetic.
Yeah, well, it's like he blew a tire or something. I don't know, man. Like, it just the whole game just made me laugh because it's like, wow, I guess the Steelers really miss Ben Roethlisberger. Like, this could have been the game where Ben's like, okay, guys, I'll put you on my back, and I got this one, all right? Because this team is not very good. We got to beat this team.
Wow.
And then, but Rudolph was just like, well, this team's pretty good, you know? Like, I don't think I can get past them.
Incredible, man. Incredible. It shows you, Ben Roethlisberger's been taking a lot of heat this year. They said he's done. He's not capable anymore. But if he was in there, Steelers win this game handily. It's a no-brainer. But Mason Rudolph, he's had 10 starts in the past 3 seasons. And yeah, he was completely ineffective.
Yeah, he was. He was just in there to try to not lose the game, which he did. He did. He got that done at least. Like he got the tie against the worst team in the NFL.
Jared Goff he has fallen off the face of the planet. He went to the Super Bowl a few seasons ago, and it was a absolutely pathetic performance by Jared Goff. Like, this guy he might be the worst quarterback in the league suddenly. Boom.
Yeah, and also too, I remember a couple seasons ago, he was in one of the most exciting games I've ever seen against the Kansas City Chiefs. And now he can't do anything.
Amazing. Incredible. So bizarre. At least we didn't see Dan Campbell cry, but he says he's in the twilight zone. I don't know if he'll be crying a little bit this week, but man, he is hilarious when he gets up there, and he just seems like, I don't even know how that guy got a job. Like, it's so bizarre. He seems like a deer in the headlights, and he's like, ties, really? Weird. I never knew that. Wow, that's bizarre.
I hope they bring him back for another season. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for right now. Is the guy he just brings me so much joy. Like, it's so funny. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's insane. The Steelers were dealt a big blow. JJ Watt got hurt late in the third quarter. He was sacking Goff. He was hit with a hip and a knee injury. He was a beast as usual, but yeah, fingers crossed. One of the best players in the league, probably one of the best defensive players in the league by far. Really, really tough if he's out for long, but let's hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah, hopefully, because the Steelers need him. They really, really need that guy on defense.
Yeah. Okay, Steelers go to the Los Angeles to face the Chargers Sunday nighter, as I mentioned, and the Lions go to Cleveland, who aren't looking very good either, but yeah, they probably are better than those Lions. Okay, we've covered the NFC. Let's turn to the AFC. We talked about the Titans, 8-2. They are top of the conference, game and a half lead. The Colts sit right behind them in second, and the AFC South with a 5-5 record. They just squeaked out a win against the Jags. I don't know if the Jags are getting better or that was just an off game for the Colts, but Jags are 2-7, 23-17. No, not too impressive, but I guess the Colts are still at least chugging along.
Yeah, the Colts are chugging along, and Taylor is the motor for that engine. Like, he had a great game again, 21 attempts for 116 yards and a touchdown. Wentz, good enough, 22-34, 180 yards, and Pittman with 5 receptions for 71 yards. Yeah, the Colts, they did what they had to do. Yeah. They beat the Jags. They won a game that they should win. It wasn't the greatest of wins, but it was still a win.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really not a lot of weapons there for Trevor Lawrence. He's had a tough rookie year. They were decent on the ground. They had a couple touchdowns, one from Agnew, one from Robinson. Dan Arnold, they acquired him a couple weeks ago, and he was their top pass catcher with 5 catches for 67, but 2-7. Yeah, not going anywhere. And yeah, we're down to 4.5 minutes left, 31-7. Yeah, Niners are gonna take this one.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I just want to point out, they just showed Phillip Rivers like massive family just for a second there.
Did they?
I lost count. I think there was 9 children. There was even a baby in there. There might have been. I don't know.
Amazing. Like, yeah. Wow. Well, at least they're probably all with the same women. That's not the same we could say for a lot of the players out there.
Very true. Very true. It's all with this one wife. That is true.
You mentioned Jonathan Taylor. He's the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006 with 100 plus scrimmage yards and a rushing touchdown in 7 straight games. So Huge weapon and a guy that they rely on week after week, 7 straight great games in a row.
Yeah. And let's hope that he stays healthy, because God forbid if that guy goes down with an injury. I don't know what would happen with the Colts offense if that were to happen.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they'd be in big trouble. Okay, Houston last in the division, 1-8 on a bye week. That covers that division. Colts go to Buffalo early window Sunday, and the Jags host the Niners. The Niners get an easy victim, compared to the Rams. It should be a great Sunday for them. AFC North, a very tight division. All 4 teams 500 or better. Really, really close division there. The Ravens, despite losing to Miami on Thursday, sit atop the division at 6-3. We covered the Steelers, who sit second at 5-3-1 now. The Bengals have a bye week, and they sit in third at 5-4. And the Browns sit last at 5-5, fresh off a crushing loss to the Patriots, 45-7. Can you believe how much the Patriots have suddenly come on? You froze there. Did you hear what I was talking about? The Patriots blew out the Browns.
Yes, they did. And unfortunately for the Browns, they suffer some more heartache because Baker Mayfield leaves the game with a knee injury. Sucks. Super sucks for the Browns. And then the thing that really sucks is that the Patriots destroyed them. They pasted them. I'm going to be honest, did not see that coming.
No.
Did not see the Browns just being annihilated by the Patriots. Annihilated. And then Mac Jones being the rookie quarterback that's winning games.
Yeah.
He's winning. He's being relevant. Yeah. And Belichick, I guess he's doing some Belichick magic again. He's doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's getting things done. It's getting things accomplished. Jones, he had a great game, man. 19-23, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. And his favorite receiver was Bourne, 4 receptions, 98 yards, and 1 touchdown. He also got out to Henry, 4 receptions, 37 yards for 2 touchdowns himself.
Jacoby Myers got his first career touchdown. 3 seasons he's been in the NFL. First time in the end zone. Crazy. He's had 39 games, 135 catches, 1,527 yards, and he finally got in the end zone. Crazy, hey? Crazy.
Yeah, that is actually a crazy stat, that the fact that man has not been able to celebrate the end zone up until this point in time. Hopefully he has more opportunities to do that in the future, not just once every 3 years he gets in.
I don't think I've seen more people celebrate a touchdown. That was a monkey that was the size of King Kong on his back, and every week the reporters were hammering him, the fans on all the talk shows and the radio shows, and they were like, what the hell's up with Myers? Why can't he get a touchdown? Finally got one. Maybe this will open the floodgates and he'll be able to score a lot. And Belichick, he was always considered a genius, complete jerk to the media, but he's been able to forge a lot of great things out of that team year after year. Tom Brady was there, obviously, but so much turnover over all the years, but winning all those Super Bowls. And Cam Newton experiment didn't work there, but this Mac Jones, I would say he's running away with the Rookie of the Year so far.
Yeah. How could he not? He's the one quarterback that's winning, so, and that's and also too, just playing for a coach like Bill Belichick can't be easy. That can't be an easy thing because he's a pretty demanding dude, and he's getting it done. And also too, I want to point out that Stevenson, great game, huge game, 20 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, he's filling in and looking great. That was a hell of a game from him, being able to hit the century mark and get a couple times into the end zone. And Yeah, we'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield. Case Keenum came in, but just not the same. Browns looked awful, and I thought they would. I thought, getting Odell Beckham Jr. out of there, that distraction's gone now. You'd think that they would be able to put something together, but the only guy that did anything was Dearness Johnson. That guy had a phenomenal game, but nobody else could do anything. Dearness had 19 carries, 99 yards, and 7 catches for 58 yards. Great game by him, but pretty lousy effort by everybody else.
Yeah, man. Because like once Mayfield went out. Oh. Okay.
We're having a few technical difficulties. Sorry to all our viewers and listeners, but let's hope we can hopefully get some clean audio and video from now.
Yes, exactly. So sorry, where were you at then?
I had just said, Browns just Dearness Johnson was the only guy that really did anything. Browns looked bad, but guess who they play coming up on Sunday? Those great Detroit Lions. So I think the Browns can sort of guarantee themselves a victory there. Did you hear me? Yeah, I don't know why we're suddenly receiving a ton of audio and video troubles. I wonder why. What's going on? Beer.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why. I'm pretty sure I know why. It's that deluge of rain. The weather has really screwed us up.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, yes, the Lions are they're such a great tonic for what ails you for any NFL football team. Yeah. You're playing bad. You need a win. Oh, would you look at that? The Lions are coming up. Okay. I think we can turn this ship around. So hopefully the Browns can get there with them facing the Lions in the next week.
Patriots go to Atlanta Thursday nighter 5:20. As I mentioned, Ravens played on Thursday. They go to Chicago to face the Bears. Miami goes to New York to face the Jets. So, okay, let's look at the AFC West. This suddenly became normal. The Chiefs were last until this Sunday. Now they're first. They've been able to turn this around. They were trailing the other 3 teams the entire season until boom, they beat the Raiders, crushed them last night, and now they're back to first place in a division.
Yeah, the Chiefs and Mahomes have definitely rediscovered their swagger by just absolutely crushing the Raiders, just by crushing them. Mahomes' stat line. Looks like he found his mojo again. 35 of 50, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns,
5 TDs. Yeah.
Everybody joined in on the touchdown catches. Like it was just like, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. Everybody got touchdowns, man. Yeah. Nice.
No, it was a pretty tight game until late in the third quarter, and then suddenly the Chiefs just exploded. I couldn't believe Travis Kelce, Darrell Williams, running back. He had 11 carries, but he had 9 catches out of the backfield for 101 yards and a TD, utilizing him incredibly well. Kelce had a huge game. Hill had a huge game. Even Pringle got in the mix. Man, like, it's fun to watch the Chiefs when they are firing on all cylinders like that.
Yeah, when they're clicking, man, and they are supremely hard to beat once they got their game rolling. And the rest of the NFL knows that. They've been lucky enough that the Chiefs haven't been the Chiefs so far. Yeah. But if they begin to find their mojo now, watch out, rest of the league. Watch out.
The Raiders were, having a struggle. Carr had some good yardage, couple touchdowns, but they were only 1 for 9 on 3rd down and 1 for 2 on 4th down. Only 15 first downs in the entire game, 50 yards rushing. Really just, not in the same class as the Chiefs in this one.
No, not at all. Not at all. They did not have it. They did not have what the Chiefs had in this particular game. They just were completely outclassed in this game.
Okay, so the Chiefs are 6-4, leading the division. Chargers 5-4, Raiders 5-4, so half a game back there. Broncos sit last at 5-5, but really tight division there. Okay, we finish off AFC East. Buffalo Bills got back on track after that debacle last week, losing 9-6 to the Jags. They blew out the Jets 45-17, sit first in the division, half a game ahead of the Patriots, 45-17. That's another team where teams love playing because they're going to get some huge stats and they're going to get some big victories. Uh-oh. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm here now. I'm here now.
Okay.
So, anyway, so I was just gonna say, Singletary, good game, 7 carries, 43 yards, 1 touchdown. Breda, 3 carries, 28 yards, another touchdown. They had 4 rushing touchdowns in this game. 4 rushing touchdowns. Like, they just ran the ball down their throat and then just said, you know what? We're just going to keep running it. You can't stop us.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. They absolutely couldn't, man. I was super impressed by that. Allen, 21 of 28, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns. And his favorite receiver, Diggs, 8 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, it was just absolute incredible show for Diggs. Even Davis had 100 yards. Breida had a touchdown on the ground and through the air. Man, they looked incredible. I don't know why last week they struggled so bad, but great to see Josh Allen and this team just turn it around and get a big victory and solidify their spot top of the division.
Yes, they did. And the Bills defense just feasted on White through 4 picks. 4 picks. Yeah. Didn't have a good game.
No, I think the Mike White era might be over just as it sort of got started. Yeah,
because Flacco came in, went 3 for 3, by the way, 47 yards and a touchdown. Right. So he wasn't the cause of their woes.
No, that's true. Yeah. So, okay. So that's a wrap of the NFL. Buffalo hosts the Colts. Jets host the Dolphins, and week 11 will start on Thursday. So, okay. Let's turn to the UFC. We had another UFC Vegas card. It was, it didn't have a huge stacked card like the last couple we've seen, both the numbered cards, but this one was Vegas 42, fight night 197, 42 events we've had in Vegas already. Man, that's incredible. The main event turned out to be the fight of the night, best fight on the card, and Max Holloway sort of guaranteed himself a really big payday. Might not get a title shot again right away because he's lost to Volkanovski twice, but I understand that he's trying to get Conor McGregor to sign on the dotted line now and have a big super fight against Conor when he gets back from his broken leg.
That fight makes sense.
Yeah,
it does. It makes sense. It makes sense because Conor's on we have to remember, major losing streak right now.
Yeah.
And if he wants to gain some sort of relevance, fighting a guy like Max Holloway can get him back to getting that relevance again.
Yeah.
And then also too, Max Holloway wants to avenge his loss to Conor McGregor. It makes sense to make this fight happen
I
at
think
this
so.
point in time.
Yeah,
Because-
I was like, oh, what happens? Because Max is number one contender. He just beat Yair Rodriguez, who's number 3. You think, legitimately you should have a shot, but once you've lost twice, they're hesitant to set up a trilogy fight. So yeah, to me, it's just a no-brainer as long as they can get Conor to agree, and hopefully he's back soon from his injury. And yeah, I think it'll be a phenomenal fight. Max Holloway is super exciting. He doesn't finish a lot of guys, so that might be something that Conor likes. Not getting KO'd necessarily if he's not back to his sharpness.
No, but the one thing that Max Holloway will do, he'll put volume of punches and kicks on you, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna at the end of that fight, you are going to be hurt.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be coming out of there all fresh faced. That's for damn sure. Because this fight was a classic.
Yeah.
Now I know that Yair Rodriguez has been in the octagon for over 2 years, covering from injuries and such. But what a way to come back to the octagon. He didn't lose anything from this loss. Nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, he should not even lose his standing. He should still be a number 3.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. This fight was an absolute war. The one thing that I'm just going to say, this was the difference between the two men. Holloway was able to focus and deal with the damage just a tad bit better than Yair Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, his top position, when he took him down to the ground, he stayed in top position, was able to hold that position a little bit longer. But still, to Yair Rodriguez's credit, he was still able to battle back to his feet and was still hitting with power, with kicks and punches, even late into the 4th and the 5th round. I was super impressed by that.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had it in him, and he did.
Yeah, after a 2-year layoff, he still looked really great. Those calf kicks were actually really damaging. I'm amazed that Holloway was able to withstand that many calf kicks, because most people would be hobbled really bad, have to change their entire game plan. But Max is super tough, was able to walk through those.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. That's the one thing that separates Max Holloway lately, anyways, is that he's able to just deal with that damage and stick to his game plan and enforce his will on his opponent. He did not let off the gas. He kept pressuring him the entire 5 rounds, waiting through all that damage, and still kept coming after him. Great fight, man.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, we had Gaethje Chandler a week ago, and everybody, fight of the year type of candidate, but this fight was just a slight notch below that. This was very entertaining. Both guys threw a ton of shots and went through a 5-round war.
Yeah, and as Michael Bisping said, this was one of the best representations of MMA. This fight had it all. They fought each other on every level that you can fight in an MMA landscape. And then at the end of it, the beauty of their competitive nature, which is, hey, this guy's awesome. This guy's awesome. We went to war in there, and I respect the hell out of this guy. And that's the other beauty. That's the other part of it.
I love the sportsmanship. For the most part, these guys are, very incredible. They give each other so much credit for going through these wars, and it's one of the reasons why this is one of the greatest sports in the world, if not the greatest. Max Holloway extended some of his records. He had records for most significant strikes, most wins, most finishes, most performance awards. He's got now 18 wins in the featherweight division, 10 finishes, 9 performance awards, and over 2,800 significant strikes in his career. Man, is he ever fun to watch. I was shocked that 2 judges judged this 48-47. I didn't think that Yair won that many rounds. One judge went 49-46. That's what I scored it like. Were you surprised that 2 judges thought he won 2 rounds?
Yes and no, because Yair fought that well. And so I was I was okay with the judges giving him those rounds. I scored it like you, 49-46. There was a couple rounds that were super close, very tight. But at the same time, the right guy won. Yeah. So I was more than okay with that. Cool. As long as the right guy wins, then that's all right. Yeah. And he did win. And Holloway deserved that win. Because at the end of the day, I saw the picture of the post-fight where they were both going to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And they beat the living hell out of each other. Yeah. They look at their faces. They beat each other up that badly. I give them all the credit in the world. Great fight, boys. Yeah,
I also saw those pictures, and I was sad to see that Yair looks like he's broken his foot. It just blew up. Some of the pictures looks like he's in for a bit of a rehabilitation to recover from a broken foot.
Yeah, like that foot was mangled. It was disgusting. It was gross. Yeah, he's going to take some time to rehab that foot, but hopefully that's the only thing that he has to rehab after a fight like that.
I think the analysts were really quite right that Yair has the potential to be the next Mexican champion in a few years. Brandon Moreno being the first. I think Yair just has to go through a few more battles. That was only his 17th fight as a pro. I think in a couple of years, we're going to see him back at the top, knocking on the door, going for a championship.
Yeah, I firmly believe that if this fight is any indication, he's making those steps to be that guy.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we turn to the co-main event? Ended really, really quick. Ben Rothwell was heavily favored. Marcus Rogerio de Lima has alternated wins and losses for the past 10 years and wasn't expected to give Ben Rothwell much of a challenge, but he just threw some massive bombs and took Ben out. Even though he protested quite a bit, he was in a lot of trouble. He got lit up quite a few times.
Yeah, man. Like De Lima just said, throw caution to the wind. I'm just going to pounce on this guy. Like, that's literally what he did. Yeah. He just said, I'm just going to throw haymakers. I don't know how this is going to end. I don't care. I'm just going to try to take this dude out as quickly as possible. And it worked.
Yeah. 32 seconds. And this fight was over. And that was a devastating way to just attack him. And you're right. He just didn't throw up any defense, but just kept throwing as many bombs as he could until he was either going to sleep or Ben was.
Yeah. And it was unfortunate. That was not Herb Dean's better stoppages. No. I understood why it happened that way because those are two enormous men. And Herb Dean's a big man, but he ain't those two guys.
Right.
So he kind of had to, just gonna have to pick my spot. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah. He was trying to get in just as Rogerio was grabbing him in a guillotine type of choke. And then he was trying to step in, but then they sort of fell down. And then Rogerio looked like, did you stop this thing? And then Herb's like, I did. It's over. So, but not one of Herb's most finest moments. But as you say, big weighted advantage for those two guys on Herb.
Yeah, huge weight advantage of those two men. But great win by De Lima and just completely unexpected. So. Great win.
Ben Rothwell has 39 wins, 28 knockouts, and 28 of them are 28 first round finishes. So very lethal guy, been around a long time. Really big victory for De Lima. Wasn't expecting that. Thought Rothwell would take him out, but that's why you never know. You just never know, especially heavyweights. One big punch knocks a guy back, and then you just swarm them, and usually you can finish the fight.
Yeah. Heavyweights, it doesn't matter who the heavyweight is. They all have the power to knock each other out because they're heavyweights. They're huge human beings.
Yeah. Okay. Women's featherweight fight before this one. Canadian Felicia Spencer beating Leah Letson. got the knockout late in the third round. Great to see her back. She's a former title challenger, had a long layoff, but she's back and was able to get a big win.
Basically, her formula for winning was just to press Letson up against the cage and constantly pressure her. Relentless aggression and relentless pressure until basically, as far as I'm concerned, broke her.
Yeah.
Broke her down, broke her. And then in the third, I love the fact that her coach yelled out, "Give the ref a reason to stop the fight." I remember hearing that clearly.
Nice.
And then Spencer going, "Oh, I'll give him a reason, all right." And just started raining elbows.
Boom.
And elbows and more elbows. So I'm just like, I'm thinking he's going to probably step in and stop. There it is. He stopped the fight. Great, utterly dominating performance by Spencer. Letson did not stand a chance in this entire fight.
Yeah, no, not at all. It was a bit of a mismatch, but yeah, great to see Felicia back. She had way too long of a layoff, and I'm glad that she was able to come in and get the victory. Okay, let's talk about this welterweight fight between Chaos Williams and Miguel Baeza. Chaos ended up getting a $50K bonus for his big knockout victory. Love watching this guy fight. He's super entertaining.
Yeah, both of them are.
Yeah.
This was a great stylistic matchup, but I do want to point out that Michael Bisping, smart man, just kept saying Baez is making his calf kicks a little bit too predictable.
Right.
He needs to change it up. I remember when he said that, I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what he's seeing that I'm not. And then in the second round where Baeza was teeing off on his calf kicks, and then as soon as he was done with that second calf kick, Chaos was already attacking him. And I was just like, here we go.
Yeah.
And his defense wasn't there. He got clipped on the chin and he went out.
Yeah.
Game over.
Landed down, just dropped like a sack of potatoes, went down. He was protesting a lot, but man, that was a big knockout. He suddenly came back too, but yeah, that was really good analysis from Bisping, because that second calf kick that happened, his corner must have noticed, made him aware of it. That's when he threw his big bomb, landed that, and got the victory. Yeah, it's great when, you know, guys that have been in there for years and years and years can see some things that we don't notice. But it was a really astute observation, and right away it showed. Boom, he was able to get the knockout. Yeah,
he was able to get the knockout, and he hit him with some huge power. That's the one thing about Chaos Williams. You may be able to fire back at him, but his return shots you have to be very concerned about, because that is nothing but power coming back your way. Great win by Chaos against a very, very tough opponent, Baeza.
Yeah, Baeza is really, really tough. Yeah. Okay, the fight that kicked off the main event was Song Yadong against Julio Arce. Song Yadong, yeah, wow, he looked great, man. Is he a tough guy? I was very impressed with when he was able to just wobble Arce, and then Yadong just came in, dropped him, forced Herb to stop this fight. Yeah, wow. Song Yadong is a force to be reckoned with in this bantamweight division.
He's got great hands, great boxing skills, and he's got massive power in those hands. And once he caught Arce, just a flurry of punches to finish him off in the round two, it was all she wrote. Arce just did not have the capacity to continue fighting after he got hit with those bombs. Did not have it.
I saw Team Alpha Male there, and yeah, they've got another bantamweight fighter that could go far. Yeah, I saw that they seem to be really excited about the potential of this guy.
Yeah, as they should be, because he does a lot of things very well, technically sound on with his punches and strikes. And again, You can't teach power like that, and he has that. He most
Yeah.
certainly has that.
Sure does. Okay, the featured prelim had Joel Alvarez against Thiago Moises. Big knockout win in first round. Alvarez, all finishes in his career so far. He missed weight, but he utilized his big reach advantage, 6.5-inch reach advantage. Just was really dominant. Very big TKO stoppage here. He keeps getting finishes, finished 5 of his last 6. And yeah, beat a ranked fighter in Moises.
Yeah, beat him, and I'm going to say kind of made it look a little bit easy.
Yeah.
He did not have a lot of trouble in this fight. And I was very impressed with the diversity of the strikes. Knees up the middle, huge elbow strikes, and got the first round's finish. And it just felt to me that Moises was overwhelmed by Alvarez.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it was amazing. El Finamino, Spanish fighter. Don't see a ton of guys from Spain, but yeah, great performance for him. Another 50K went to Andrea Lee, who beat Cynthia Calvillo. Calvillo has been on a meteoric rise and has won a lot of fights in the last couple of years, but Andrea Lee was phenomenal in this one and got the big knockout as Cynthia was unable to get off her stool after the second round, couldn't continue going into the third. I think her coaches decided that she was taking too much abuse and decided to say, let's save her for another day.
I like that coaching. I like that. I think too many times you see the coaches go the opposite way, which is, we're just going to keep trotting you out there until you're almost dead, like, and so it clearly shows to me that the coaches care about her well-being, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And also too, she wasn't going to beat Andrea Lee. Let's be honest, man.
No.
She comes out in the third round. She's just going to get more. She's just going to be beaten on even more so.
Yeah.
And she just didn't have it. She wanted to have it. She had the will, but it just wasn't her night. And I think there's no shame in calling it, knowing that all you're going to do is get beat up more for another round.
This was a big upset according to the odds makers. Andrea KGB Lee was number 12 in the division and Cynthia's number 5. I don't know what the rankings are quite yet, but yeah, it'd be amazing to see Andrea suddenly enter into the top 5 off this huge performance. She was supposed to fight Jessica I, but she withdrew because of an infection. Calvillo stepped in, and man, Andrea, she will not be out of the top 10 soon. I don't know how high she'll be, but incredible performance, beating the number 5 ranked fighter.
Yeah, incredible. And she's definitely going to be in the top 10. I don't know about the top 5, but I could see her definitely making number 6. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the sniper, Sean Woodson. Probably the ugliest body in mixed martial arts. It looks like a daddy long legs, small little body, crazy skinny arms, legs, so tall for that division. But man, is he accurate, and does he ever know how to snipe? Very accurate nickname for him.
Yeah, and also too, he knows how to use his reach advantage, which he has plenty of.
Yeah, plenty
of that. And once he got going against Anglin was at his wit's end. I don't believe he knew what to do with that. He was just like, I have no, like, he's got these limbs just coming all over at me. I don't know what's going on. Like, I felt bad for Anglin, man, because once he started getting hit, it just snowballed. It just snowballed. It was an avalanche. And then before you know it, got TKO and got out of there. Like, took him out.
It's tough when you're like, okay, what am I trying to, and then all of a sudden you take liver shots and then you're like, oh, and then you're hitting in the face and you're ducking and weaving and bobbing, but every shot is just killing you. That liver shot that brought him down, he had already taken about 3 of them. That last one, there was no way he could keep continuing. Man, Woodson, Man, what a featherweight to be that tall, but crazy skinny. His legs are just his arms and legs are just crazy skinny. Like it doesn't even look like he has any muscle at all on his body, but man, he's a lethal striker.
He is a lethal striker, and I was super impressed with his body shots. Like his shots to the body, like he just kept hurting Anglin over and over with those liver shots. And then that last one was just like, yeah. And Anglin didn't have it in him anymore after that. And it was like, I'm done. He was done. Great win by Woodson.
7-inch reach advantage, 6'2.5" as a featherweight. It's insane. The guys, when he walked into that gym that first time, they must have been like, wow, check out this dude. I think he's got some potential. Okay, Courtney Casey, Liana Jojua, decision victory. Do we need to talk too much about this one?
No, just that Casey did everything right and Jojua did a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
She should have actually got on her bike and tried to get Casey down in the beginning of the rounds instead of at the end of the rounds. And when she did that, she lost round 1 and she lost round 2. Yeah. And then she didn't even bother with the takedown in round 3. Good win by Casey.
Yeah, I was surprised. She didn't have too much trouble with that takedown first round. You'd think she would try it. She was same in the second round, but why not do it at the beginning? If you're getting that advantage, you're getting lit up. She was getting outstruck really badly on the feet. Didn't take advantage of it, and Casey was able to get the big win.
Yeah. It's her coaches were asking for her to do things, and she just didn't. She just was not able to do the things that her coaches asked for, so that's why she lost the fight.
Yeah. Rafael Alvarez had the big early stoppage over Mark Jacasey. That flying knee, he stiffed him up with a left, through the flying knee, and then Jacasey tried to go for the takedown, immediate guillotine, and choked him out, forced the tap. Very incredibly great performance by Alvarez.
Yeah, and against a very dangerous fighter against Jacasey, like he made that look kind of easy.
Yeah. What do you make of his nickname, The Turn? What the hell's The Turn?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the term is. I'm gonna need some context on that, or it's just the term, like it's just the term. Like I'm just like, okay, well, sure, the term it is, whatever.
Yeah. Alves was a professional soccer player back in Brazil, but he had a bike accident that stopped his pro soccer career. So he turned to mixed martial arts, and he's looking great. That was a very incredible performance. I really enjoyed the light heavyweight fight off the top. I like Kennedy, but Jung Da-un was the better performer, got a early KO victory, just dropped him, was able to land an elbow behind the ear and drop Kennedy and take the victory.
It's just the elbow strikes.
Yeah.
Hit him with one elbow, another, no, and then he just was like, this is working. I'm just gonna keep elbowing him. Bang, bang. It's just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, and that's what took Kennedy out, man. Like when Jung started hitting those elbows, it's been like, oh, this works. I'm just gonna keep hitting him with my elbows, and then that was it.
That was it.
Kennedy could not deal with that power coming at him, and Jung has plenty of it.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. Yeah, so fun card, really great. Glad that's out of the way. We've got a fight this coming Saturday. We've got Miesha Tate and Caitlin Vieira being the main event. Co-main has Michael Chiesa against Sean Brady. We've got JoJo. Her last name is Wood now. There's no Calder on there. She married a guy with the last name Wood, so it's JoJo Wood. Davy Grant, Adrian Yanez. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun fights on this card. Not a ton of big names, but as usual, I'm sure we'll see some great fireworks.
Yeah, and maybe it will be like this card where there was like what? I think 3 of these fights went decision. That's it.
Yeah.
So if it can be like this, it'll be a great card. Hopefully. Fingers
Uh,
crossed.
I heard, I think it was Megan O'Leary, or maybe it was Karen Bryant that said this card tied a record for the most knockouts on a card, and I can't see that being true because I feel like there's more cards that would have had more than 8 knockouts, but that's what they said. I'll have to dig into it a little deeper, but did you hear her say that?
I did. I remember hearing them say that because as I was going through it, I was just like, okay, so that one went to decision, knockout, 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 knockout. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, well, they might have a point here because there was a lot of finishes, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm like you. I thought I remembered cards where I'm like, where they were damn near almost all knockouts,
Yeah.
finishes. So,
Yeah,
but
especially, some cards got 14, 15, 16 fights on them. And, I
yeah,
would have thought out of, let's see, there's probably, been close to 600 cards now. And, to not have one that had more than 8 really shocks me. But I'm looking through the prelims and I see that our local girl, Lupi Godinez, is fighting again. This is her 3rd fight in like a month. She's fighting Loma Lukbunme. And yeah, so that's amazing that she's so thrown back in there so quickly.
yes, and I'm hoping that this time around, because her last fight was not actually in her weight division.
Right.
So this time around,
Yeah.
better be in her weight division because it was very, very apparent she's too small for the upper weight division.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too
She's a small in stature girl. And yeah, you're right. She was fighting above her weight class there. So yeah, and they're both 6-2 going into this one. So it'd be great to see the local girl back at it. Okay. We're gonna finish off with the NBA as usual. Yeah, there's been a lot of top teams emerging as we see. Golden State still, even though they lost last night, still the best team in the league, and yeah, just not seeming to be missing a beat. They just barely lost last night, but 11-2, couple game lead on the Suns, and yeah, really, really, really looking strong. Fun to watch right now.
They're fun to watch, and I just love the fact that they share the ball.
Yeah.
Like they move the ball on offense. And even if somebody is like doing their thing, like Steph is dancing or whatever, there's still off-ball movement in the offense, which is, I don't understand why more teams don't do that. Like, you don't just need to stand in the corners and be like, well, let's just watch your superstar go to work. Like, no, man, move, do something, cut. Like, you can also play make. It's frustrating sometimes. It's frustrating when I see the offenses work and I just go, no, man, I like to see movement. I like to see the players still move, even if the guy is like on the block or whatever and he's doing his thing. You can still move. You can still move to open spaces and stuff. So, and that's why I love the Golden State. I love watching them play. Yeah, and to a certain respect, that's why I like watching the Hornets play. They kind of do some similar things that Golden State does.
Yeah, you're right. Watched Charlotte and Golden State last night. Phenomenal game. I heard you got it on tape, so I won't ruin a lot of it. But man, it comes down. It's 99-98 for Charlotte for about 4 minutes. It's like the first team to 100 typically in the NBA wins the game, and nobody wanted to get to 100. It was crazy. So many shots, so much good defense, but so many missed shots. It was crazy to watch. And finally, there was somebody got 100. Hornets got 100 and went on to win. But man, that was a fun game to watch, though. I love LaMelo Ball. He is just has been a real talent and a real treat to come in and watch. He's doing things that we haven't seen many players in this league do.
Yeah, man. And also too, he's got a little Russell Westbrook in him. He's got the potential to get those triple doubles just like that. And he was on point from three. He was hitting 3-pointers. I think by halftime he was 4 or 6 from three. Like, yeah, he's a complete pleasure to watch. And his passing skills just very reminiscent. Said it before, and I'll say it again, of Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
He's got that in him. He definitely has that.
Well, there was his performance on Friday. They played the Knicks and they beat the Knicks. He had 17 assists, 17 rebounds, 12 assists, 5 steals, and he led all teams in those 3 categories, and both the Knicks and Charlotte in both those categories. And he was the 3rd youngest player to ever have that happen, where he led both teams in a game. And Magic Johnson and Luka Doncic were the other 2 guys in that category. So he's entering elite company with Magic and Luka. That's incredible.
Yeah, because that's all you got to say. It's like, oh, he did things that Magic and Luka have done. Okay, well, enough said. He's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
He's the only player in the league right now that's averaging 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals a game. Only player in the league. Nobody else has those types of stats across the board.
That's amazing. And like, look at how young he is. It's his 2nd year and he's already doing this.
Yeah.
And we've seen another stud do this too. His name is Luka Doncic, and look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's already looking like an MVP candidate. So is that where we're going to see LaMelo in his 3rd year? Possibly.
Yeah. Mentioning Golden State again, their owner, Joe Lacob, said that the trade that he did, D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins, best trade he's ever made, as best trade that they have ever made as an organization.
Well, you know what? Now that you look back on it and you see the way that Wiggins is playing, to see what D'Angelo Russell is doing, I would have to second that, because all of a sudden Andrew Wiggins has changed his game into more of a defensive savant that can guard any wing at any point in time.
Okay. A funny story came out of the Timberwolves. They were fined $250,000 this past weekend. They did the brutal thing by going and having a practice at A-Rod's house. $250,000 for practicing at A-Rod's house.
What? Okay, first off, wait, what? Why did you do that? Like, what is going on here? Like, you have a practice facility. What do you do? Like, there's a pandemic going on. What?
So weird.
I don't even know where to begin with that.
Yeah, that was a weird fine, and weird to even think that they decided, yeah, I think this sounds like a cool idea. Why don't we go to A-Rod's house and have a big practice? And they said, no, not allowed to do something like that. So a little lighter in the wallet for the owner of the T-Wolves. Okay, this is not a, I don't know. I guess this is a story we're ending with. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, known for one of the greatest players of all time, also known for his philanthropy work and all the things that he's done in his life. Well, his son doesn't seem to be the same stand-up guy that Kareem has been able to be, and he was sent to prison for 6 months today. He got into a dispute with his neighbor over the garbage cans, and his neighbor asked him to help his grandmother move her garbage cans out to the street, and he proceeded to stab the guy. He stabbed him several times in the back, the head, the neck, and the abdomen. When the guy fell down from all the stab wounds, he fractured his skull and had some bleeding on his brain. So you think, how much time do you think you should get for doing all that. Not 6 months. No, I don't think 6 months is enough. Does he get 6 months because he's the son of Kareem? But this story just doesn't make sense. They fight over garbage cans. He stabs the guy a whole bunch of times, almost kills him. And they say, yeah, 6 months in jail.
That's attempted murder, right? That's like he's several seconds away from actual murder.
Yeah.
I know Kareem is like a big deal. Like, but is he that big a deal that he can keep his son out of prison? I guess, because there's no other explanation other than Kareem stepped in and did something behind the scenes, because there is no freaking way that you get 6 months for attempted murder. That is attempted murder, my friend.
Yeah.
That's going to jail for a couple decades. You know what I mean?
Incredible. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I was just blown away that he only got 6 months for that. And yeah, Adam Abdul-Jabbar, 6 months for attempted murder. Yeah. Stabbing the guy a whole bunch of times over garbage can dispute. Pretty ridiculous. I've been keeping my attention a little bit on the Raptors. End of the third quarter, playing the Blazers, 85 all, heading into the fourth quarter. Raptors are 7-7, up and down year. I think we're going to sort of see them in that, close playoffs, maybe right in that probably 7 to 10 range. But there was talk that they are in talks right now with the Mavs. The Mavs are really wanting to get Goran Dragic. I guess his brother is really good and close with Luka Doncic, and they would love to get the countrymen together. For some reason, since Dragic has been in Toronto, he's been did not play coach's decision night after night after night, not taking the floor at all. And a lot of teams were hoping they would waive him, but the Raptors want to get something for him. They think he's valuable for other teams, and they're trying to make a trade. I lost you. You're frozen. Damn. Guess once you come back online, we'll have to probably just say goodbye. Are you there? You froze. Am I frozen on your side? Okay. I lost you. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry.
Jeez.
I dipped out. It sounded really good. All right. So you want to say that again?
Yeah, I don't know what you heard, but I guess Raptors are trying to trade Goran Dragic. They hear that the Mavericks are really trying to get him. Hopefully that can be made, because I think Goran's a great player. He just has not been able to make it onto the floor in Toronto.
Yeah, and I believe I saw an interview with Goran, and he did say that he's been in contact with the coaching staff and stuff, and they've come to an agreement that he's not going to play. So I guess they want to keep him healthy. They're still paying him, so that's pretty cool. But they're definitely going to move him. But I'm curious to see where they move him to, and what they feel that they can do, because I myself thought they were just going to waive him and just let him do what he wants to do. But it doesn't seem that Masai Ujiri wants to do it that way, wants to play that. So they're going to have to move him for something, and they probably want something in return. So, but if they can work something out with the Mavericks and get pieces that they need for their team, maybe. But maybe they're also looking elsewhere as well. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure Goran Dragic has to be involved in those talks as well. Like, if they're going to trade him, he has to be notified. Would this be a team that you'd be willing to go to or something like that? Because I think it's still very amicable, these talks that they're having between him, the coaching staff, and the team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think he has to happy with the move. And I'm glad the Raptors aren't just waving him and tossing him away, because I think he's valuable to other teams and he could garner something back. And Masai Ujiri and Bobby Green have made some good deals there. And we'll see what shakes down in the next week or so. Another podcast comes to a close. This was fun, man, as usual. And really, looking forward to a great week ahead. Thanks for doing this. And I guess I'll see you at some point tomorrow.
Yes, because I was the lucky one and I get to do all the rubber matting while you get to go off with the truck. It's great. It's great, man. But yes, man. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure doing this with you. And I look forward to more talks and more great sports for this upcoming week.
You just got to get a little bit better at rock, paper, scissors, and then I'd be doing that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes. You beat me. Best out of 3. You got it. You got me.
Good. Okay, man. Well, I heard it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so I'm glad you're getting more of a suntan, and you'll be a happy guy there tomorrow. And as I said, this was fantastic. As usual, let's have a great week ahead.
Yes, definitely. We shall do that. And you have yourself a great evening, sir. Thanks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds great, Jason. Cheers. Good night.
Cheers. Night.
Okay. Well, thanks for everybody for sticking in. We had some audio and video troubles. Man, Zoom is annoying sometimes. Love it, but hate it. Crazy. I'm sure hoping one day we can stop that from happening and get a great feed the whole entire time. But I really appreciate you sticking to the end. Want to mention our partners and sponsors, Anchor FM. They call themselves the easiest place to make a podcast. Just go to anchor.fm. You can do what Jason and I have just done here. I want to talk about Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey player in your family or friends. We got Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast made pretty things. They will do installations in your home or send it to you to pretty up your spot. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company. They have products for health and beauty. Thanks as always. And go to CompleteSportsMedia.com, CompleteMediaNetwork.com. Lots of amazing content as always. Have a great week ahead. Love you guys lots. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.